Welcome to Little Shifts Online Dynasty with the subscribers. So, I've been getting a lot of messages lately asking about recruiting, wanting to know about recruiting, talk about recruiting. So that's what we're going to do. Before we get started, I just want to say that if you show your recruiting on there, unless the recruit's committed to your school, please don't show any of the recruits, because there's a lot of times where the recruit might be second on your list, but if you haven't found that person and you're not adding points to it, it would let the other person know from watching the video. I'm not saying that anybody's done this. I just want to put that out there because I respect everybody else and don't show everybody else's recruits. And I know that Chef does the same thing. So anybody out there that's putting up videos, please don't show any of the recruits of mine. But with all that nonsense said, let's go check out what I got. All right, so I gotten a few more recruits. I think it was maybe 4 or 5 since the last time I put up a video. The bottom 3, I know that I've went over those, but I've gotten that Marcus Bernard, Johnson Simmons, and Frazier since the last time I did one of these. So I'm going to go through those. Of course, when I scroll up, the top's going to be blurred out, so I don't show anything off. There's a few recruits up there that I'm still battling out with people, or have found that people don't know about. That's a little gem or whatever. But like I said, I've talked about these bottom guys, so I'm just going to kind of go up to this old Marcus here and see what he's all about. I needed a tight end. He's not the greatest in the world, but let me look at his scout and let me see what I might have liked about him real quick. So he's got great catching, which is good. He's not as tall as I like my tight ends to be, and his blocking is not all that great. But usually when they catch good, they're not a good blocking tight end, unless he's an elite tight end, which this guy is a 68's not. But he's got good release. He's got decent route running for a big guy. The speed's all right. I mean, it'll get there, but like I said, I don't have a tight end, so better to start there with nothing. But of course, I got some guys on up the list that are a little better than 68. The only reason I did get him is you can see over in the scouting, he was a +7. So I kind of found that little diamond in the rough with this guy. Ryan Johnson. Ryan Johnson is, let me see. He's not a big guy either. He is a JUCO guy, but he's a 77, and so he's gonna find playing time somewhere on this team, and that's what I look for. But I know he's an athlete, but I think he's a defensive end. With that acceleration, speed, and high strength, he's not a secondary with that man coverage stuff being low. He's not a quarterback, you can see. He's not a running back. So I'm thinking he's going to be a defensive lineman, which is fine with me because his tackle's great, his hit power is great, play recognition's above average. So that's good. That's good on this guy. I needed some defensive ends just to stack up that line. With all the hurry-up offenses out there, I like it that the second guy can come in and still be effective. Taking a look at Franklin Simmons, I think he's the same way, and he's a little diamond in the rough too that I found that nobody kind of was really going after. I don't think he was a JUCO guy though. Let's look. He's a JUCO guy too. I don't know what year he is, and I forgot how to look. That's all right. He's 6'4", 240. He's a big dude, and he's going to make an impact right away. I'm going to look at that speed. The speed and strength, and he's another defensive end because you can see his man coverage. Well, his man coverage is a 55. That's average for a linebacker in this game. Maybe a little below average. But his hit power is great. His tackle's good. His speed's fantastic. Speed in the 80s for defensive ends are awesome. Awesome. His power moves and finesse moves aren't all that great. But still, for my team to have a guy that's a 75, I'm going to find a place for him somewhere. I mean, I wouldn't feel bad putting him at defensive tackle. I've done it before. I'd do it again. This Tim Frazier guy, I'm not super stoked about him, but I couldn't get away from his speed. That's a decent speed for a freshman. It'll be, if I redshirt him, and then when he's a senior, it'll be an 85. But hopefully he can develop some other stuff, and with that speed and that acceleration, his strength all that ain't that great, and his power moves and stuff ain't all that great either, but I like his speed for as big as he is. 6'7", 242 with the speed he's got, on the line somewhere. I mean, maybe you could put him at middle linebacker, but I don't like his coverage and stuff. His coverage ain't bad, but it's not good either. But I mean, I don't know. He's got great speed for as big as he is, and I love that. At 6'7", that's a big dude on defense, and that's one of the things I like. That's all the recruits I got now. Whoops, can't spend points. Like I said, there's some other guys up there that I'm going after that I'm pretty excited about. I know I'm battling Merck on a few guys, battling Chef on some people, but not too bad. Another thing I'm going to look at here is top classes. I love top classes. It's so much fun. So I'm right here under Merck at USC, and he's gotten a little more than me, but I'll talk about in a minute about how I recruit, and I usually get a bunch at the end of the season. But one thing I am proud of is if you sort this by 5-star prospects, I'm the only user that's gotten a 5-star prospect. And I know that's true because all the users are highlighted in yellow, so I can't help but to miss them. So not as many as some other people, but happy about that. Going on down the list, Georgia Tech's got 25 recruits, sitting fourth in the country. Moving on down, Indiana sitting 14th with 11. He's got a bunch of 4-stars. That's nice. That team's going to get better, I would imagine, with that. Iowa, Northwestern at 14 and 10, respectively. Looking good. I know Chef's recruiting his butt off. I know he's a lot like me. He doesn't 2-star, 1-star. I don't want him. I really don't even want a lot of 3-star guys. But starting out first year, it's first year for everybody. So it's kind of tough not to get those. NC State, he's got 15 people. USC, Oklahoma, we just looked at those. Let's see. Wisconsin, Cincinnati with 9 and 5. They got a couple of 4-star guys, which is nice. And then, I don't see who's at the bottom. Missouri. Missouri's right out the bottom. He's got 3 people. I don't know if he's letting the computer do that or what he's doing, but I don't know. But anyways, talking about what I do when I recruit. Everybody's asking me, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? First thing I do, I come in, I click search. I leave the position to any minimum caliber. I go 3-star. I don't want 2 and 1-star players. That's not the kind of caliber team that I'm building for a team that I want on here. I go interest in Oklahoma State. I'll start out at either 3 or 5, top 5 schools, okay? I'll click on that, and I'll see what it does. Now look, okay, 25 people, 25 recruits that are 3-star or above are interested in my school, and I'm sitting in their top 5. And then I'd click A again to see who the people are. I'm not going to click on A because I don't want to show all the recruits and stuff that are in there. If you want to see who those people are, you can go look for it yourself. I'm not going to do it for you. And I'll go through there and what I need. Okay, I need a center, I need a tight end, I need a punter. And so I'll go on down the list and kind of see what's there and all that kind of stuff. I didn't worry about tight end because, well, I needed that one tight end, and there's a couple of guys that I was going after that got away from me. A center, I got some backup people that I can move over to center. I'm not going to spend all kinds of effort and points and everything else just to get one good center. That's a waste. Especially, and I don't even know why I'm telling you guys this, but anybody that's watching this for recruiting tips, you can move a guard or a tackle, change their position in the offseason to a center, and they get better. Because they don't have to pull, they don't need great speed and acceleration and blocking outside on those pulling plays where the guards and tackles pull on the backside. You don't need all that, so normally they get better. I can recruit a tackle, I can recruit a guard, and move them to center. So I'll have my center position filled. Punter, sometimes I go after a punter, sometimes I don't. My kicker is good enough where he can be a kicker and a punter. It's the first year recruiting. I don't need to waste time and effort trying to get a punter. That's not saying punters aren't important. They're very, very important, especially when you're playing users for field position. But this is how I start out. I start out with that, and I go through there and see who is interested in my school. And then after I go through those guys, I'll put them on the board, scout them all. Who's a bust? Take them off. Who doesn't fit what I want as a team? Like Georgia Tech, for instance. I'd be willing to bet money. He's running that wing tee. He's running the flex bone with that fullback and the tight. He's probably running Georgia Tech's offense. He would, the players who need to fit for that power run game that he's running, that option stuff. He wants fast quarterbacks and all that kind of stuff. He doesn't need somebody that's a pocket passing, slow quarterback. He needs, he would recruit somebody that's a halfback that's really good, that he's going to convert to a fullback that still has good blocking out. So he would look for somebody like that, like when you're really getting specific on down the road, for like an elite person that he would need for his team. Other stuff, I want tall receivers. I run a lot to the outside. I want big physical receivers that can get out there and block for me. I like big targets. I run, a West Coast, which is a bunch of slant routes and that kind of stuff. Short, to mid-level passing game. I want big targets. What else? I'm trying to think of what else. Okay, so after I do that, then I'll bring this out to 10. Click A, see what comes up. It's going to be some of the people, but there's 10 more. And so after I go through that, scout all those people that I want, kick the ones out that I don't need, and kind of keep going through it again. Now later on in year 3 and 4, where you've really built up your program and you can really do good, you can fine-tune all this. I'll fine-tune all this to height. I'll look for, because after a couple of years, like when I was at Ole Miss, I would only thing I would want is 4 and 5-star recruits. That's the only thing I want. I don't need anything else. And so I would go 4 and 5-star. I would go by position. So I would go wide receiver, height. I want anybody from like 6'3" to 6'6" for a receiver, right? And so let's just see if there was any. And I would go, top 5 or top 10 and hit search. There's none. Widen it out a little more. Top 10 schools. 0. Okay. Go to any. 5 people. I'd go and look at those 5 people. Is there a possibility that I could get these people? There's a lot of stuff and mechanics in the game that recruits don't want to go far from home, which I don't know why they have that in there, because it's horseshit kind of. If you're an elite wide receiver prospect out of high school, and say I'm from Texas, right, and the University of Florida or Oregon or USC, I don't give a shit. I'm heading over there to go play ball. That's stupid. Nope. I mean, there's a few guys that want to stay close to home, but if you're an elite player, why would you not want to go to an elite school? It just doesn't make any sense. So I go to running backs, any height, and then minimum speed. I would kind of go up and try to get in the really quick range, like a 4.3, and I would kind of hit that. Let's see. Whoops, I forgot my. It's going to be 0, and I'd widen it out a little more by a few seconds. So a 4.5. Let's see if there's any halfbacks. 4. Go through there and just look at them. And then way on down the line, once you get your recruiting way up and your coach is an excellent recruiter, when you have that little deal that unlocks all the pipeline states, you can do by state. You can click this and you go search only by pipeline. I used that all the time when I was at Ole Miss, because at the end of the year, this last season that I had at Ole Miss, I had that deal unlocked to where you only needed like two kids or 3 kids on your team from one state to make it a pipeline. Dude, like the whole Southeastern Conference was my pipeline state with Texas and California. And you'll kind of notice that some states produce a bunch of recruits. Man, I had a bunch of awesome defensive linemen from Louisiana. Now, I don't know if that mechanic is in there, but just saying. But that's kind of what I do in a nutshell as far as my recruiting. Now it may come back and bite me, and some people are going to beat me on stuff. But there's some other finer things that I do. I'll move players around, outside linebackers to defensive end, and really fast corners to free safety. I do stuff like that all the time because that's the defense that I want. I want that fast defense that's going to fly to the football. But I think that'll do it as far as recruiting in this video. I don't know what else to talk about. I said this is going to be a quick video and it ended up being like 20 minutes long. I don't even know what I talked about. I always say that. I'm going to do a quick recruiting video and then it lasts 20 minutes. People are going, man, that ain't quick. That's a whole football game. But I hope that helped. Like I said, I like to help people and kind of, show my knowledge for what it's worth. I could be doing it wrong. I don't know. But thanks for watching. And like I said before, we'll see you at the next the bowl game.